lead belly. To my ears, there is a big chunk of Northwest in there, some Hart, some Chris Cornell, some Patti Smith, some Tina Turner, some Betty Davis. But don't take my word for it. Grab their EP. It's called Last Call. See them tomorrow at the Showbox, or even better yet, listen to them right now. Bearaxe, hey.
Hi.
We are so glad to have you in the studio, Shayna.
Oh my goodness. We're so excited to be here. And now talk up. Come on now.
Come on.
Come on now. Come on, burn your own weed with us, honey.
There it is. Well, let's do it. Let's give everybody a piece of what you're going to do tomorrow night, and then we'll come back and chat.
Okay, let's do it. Well,
let's do it.
You know, let's have a little taste of brown liquor in the middle of the morning, right? Give it 1, 2, 3.
God, 91.3 KBCS. We have Bearaxe here live in the studio. There they were doing a Brown Liquor. You can find that on their EP called Last Call, and you can check them out tomorrow night, New Year's Eve, at the Showbox with Thunder Pussy. It's going to be a great show.
It is so good. I'm excited.
Good Lord, Shayna. So, when I first grabbed your EP, I have this long commute south end down to Tacoma, and I'm listening to it, and I'm sitting at the light at Division and I Street, and you guys are just thundering out of my car, and I'm just blissed out. And I look over right as the light turns, and there's a guy next to me staring at me, and he just kind of gives me the head nod and the thumbs up. That is Bearaxe, let me tell you. Shayna Shepherd, thank you so much for coming in. We're really pleased to have you. When did that explode out of you? When did you know that you could do that?
When I joined Bearaxe, honestly. Yeah, when we got together, that's when I really started pushing my voice to where it is now. I met Matt at a gig. Where was that gig? Oh, yeah, it was a Microsoft gig with a band. We were doing covers. We barely knew each other. And, we were just kind of it was one of those gigs you don't know anybody. You're just there to get paid and do the thing, And I was like, oh, he's shredding for at least 8 people. And I was singing, and we just had a quick little chat, on break or whatever. And he was like, hey, you want to come hang out with me and my friends at a warehouse? And we're going to jam. And I was like, yay, friends, come on. So then it was that first night, it was me and Matt and John and our old drummer. And we just had a blast, having a good time and I was screaming. I was screaming the whole night.
So you don't know each other well. You don't really know where you all have come from, and as far in terms of influences and loves, and so that formation, that creation process, as you guys are figuring it out. What were the songs that you were tripping over, and the artists and the musicians that you were like, oh yeah, I love him, or let's try that, or let's do that?
Well, that's the weird thing about this group is we never shared influences. It was weird. We got together, and that was the immediate thing that we did, and John would be like, do you know this song? And then one of us would know it. And then Matt would be like, you guys know this song? And then, so we didn't do it that way. We really just started doing it the old garage rock kind of vibe where you just start thrashing around and feeling your moment, and then somebody else listens to that moment, and then that's kind of how it went. It wasn't until we really started defining songs that we started to talk about influences and really getting to know where we've even come from. And I feel our influences kind of, when it comes to rock and roll, those songs and those artists were the people that formed us, but they're not necessarily people that we were listening to or the sounds we were listening to before we met.
Yeah.
But rock and roll kind of brought us together, and it also, has also increased all of our knowledge. It's crazy, when you listen to music for so long and you don't really listen to the words, you don't really feel the beat or whatever, you're like, yeah, that makes me feel good. How much we really retain from that, And I feel that's kind of what we've connected on, honestly. Just those little heart songs from the back of our head, from the back of our history, kind of bringing us to the forefront now. And it's now we're kind of living those youthful dreams that, we kind of forgot about maybe. It's a cool time.
No, I'd read that some of your early stuff, you were classically trained. Is that right? You were coming up through opera, etc., which seems to me, even though it's such a powerhouse vocal form, there's still, there's a lot of restraint, there's a lot of control, and man, it's you've balled all of that up and just thrown it off the fire escape.
Honestly, yeah. I feel some of my old teachers would just be aghast at what I'm doing now, some of the stuff. But, vocal training is so great because the best vocalist, my favorite vocalist of all time is Leontine Price. And she had incredible training throughout her career, but she also was one of those artists that took all of those influences and just did something totally different. Because sometimes you have to rewrite the rules in order to create space for yourself. And so that's kind of the way I've been seeing things recently. It's just you can learn a lot, but then who are you and what do you do with it? So, yeah, I mean...
That's it right there, right? You're creating space for yourself. I mean, when I jotted down a note here where you had called Last Call, your EP, unapologetically the chaotic story of Black feminism. And if I had to distill that, and I wouldn't have been able to articulate this 30 seconds ago, but that's it right there. And in some ways, it's making space for yourself.
Exactly.
Talk about that.
I mean, I think when we all got together, we kind of felt like cast-offs. We kind of felt like we weren't getting or didn't know where to go when it comes to like being in the music industry. I mean, I know I felt that way for sure. You know, and this idea of that Black feminism moment, you know, honestly, just in the moment when we were writing these songs, that's what I was feeling. That's what I was feeling. I felt seen and heard by my brothers and my friends, you know, in a way that I had never felt before. And those feelings of anxiety and rage, you know, I was able to sing that from whatever place lives inside of myself. And the fact that people are responding to it and appreciate it is more of a testament, I think, to like how our society is changing right now and how there's more diverse stories that are not only just being highlighted, but like people are like, what do you have to say? You know, how does that affect the fabric of what we do here in Seattle music and nationally? And, you know, so I do feel super empowered to find and create space where a group of people that have totally different walks of life like ourselves, you know, can come together in the same room and just feel what we're feeling and just make art without having to worry about, you know, who's going to buy it, who's going to pick, what record label's going to pick it up, who's this going to sell to. Like, no, this is the time to just say who you are, be yourself, and just change the world, you know. So why not?
You're listening to Shayna Shepherd, lead vocalist of Bearaxe. She performs, and Bearaxe performs tomorrow night at the Showbox, New Year's Eve. It's going to be a killer show. You got a monster band here with you. These guys, Oz and John and Matt, are amazing. Do a quick little intro, and then maybe we can talk you guys into another song here.
Okay. Well, we're going to do, all right. Well, you guys, yeah, this is the thing, though, that this is perfect. We're on community radio. Nobody ever talks to them. So, actually, this needs to happen, like, straight up. John Lemon is the bass player in Bearaxe. He's basically the heartbeat emotionally and and also in the music, you know, he's the incredible musician. He's a multi-instrumentalist. He's a rapper. He's a lyricist. He does it all, but he holds it down for us here in Bearaxe. Oslebre, he's a killer drummer who's played with everybody in town. Honestly, like some of the biggest bands in town right now, this guy's just jammed with them and shed with them over the years. And he's just like the fundamental like joy and life and spirit in our band that keeps us just like really focused on like remaining genuine and true to ourselves. And he plays that way. And then Matt Williams, of course, he's the shred. He's the heart. He writes so much of the music when it comes to bringing everything together. That's the guy. And he's an incredible musician, a great friend. And yeah, Matt Williams, John Lemon, Oslebre, Shayna Shepherd. We're going to do some weird stuff now.
91.3 KBCS Bearaxe live in the studio.
I think I'm thirsty, need a taste. Drinking Tizzy that's been laced with something I call an Uber just in case. I need a ride before you get me. Hey. I'm going balls against the wall. Oh. I'm buying shots, I take them home. With lemon. If you gon' fall out before the last call, I need a ride. Call your Uber.
913 KBCS. Bearaxe here, live in the studio. That's Uber. You can get it on Last Call, their EP. They're going to be at the Showbox tomorrow night for the New Year's Eve show, which is going to be one hell of a show. Thunder Pussy is playing. A bunch of other acts are there. Wow, that guys, I tell you, that was awesome.
Oh, thank you so much, Ian. We appreciate being here. Love it.
We love having you. Uber, what you know, the ubiquitous Uber here. Tell us about this. Can you get into it just for a moment?
Well, we are on the radio. I'm reminding myself that. But
those are always the best stories are coming when someone has to remind themselves they're on the radio, or maybe they're not coming, as the case were.
Well, it's not that hard. I'm from New York, right? So I don't drive. I would love to drive, but I don't. And I take Ubers everywhere I go. I like to zip around town. I like to see as many shows as I can and get live. But back in the old days, there was a time where I was at our favorite dive bar, actually, Tim's Tavern on 105th and Greenwood. And like literally, I think that song is based on an experience there at Tim's that was, sometimes you just have to get your boss lady moment, and honestly, when you're just walking around as a woman who likes to take care of themselves, likes to feel their power, sometimes people will come in and just try to take away from that sometimes, especially in those kind of environments. And, as musicians, as a female musician, I'm living my life in those environments. So it's about changing the culture. Who's in the driver's seat when it comes to my body, my sexuality is me. And anybody else who wants to get in the car, they're going to have to either be the Uber driver or be invited. So that's what the song is about.
This is such a through line for music for decades, and how women are treated and front women are treated in this. What do you do, if, in a radio friendly way, I guess, what are your shutdown techniques when people try to come in and take it away from you?
Well, there's a couple of modes, there's like Aries Shayna, who's just like, hey, sir, watch yourself. You're confused. You don't know who I am. I am a child of God. Okay. So you need to walk away. Or there's the other way, which is hard. It's hard to navigate those things in our industry because we want to be polite. We want to be courteous. We want to build relationships with people. I was just having a conversation with somebody about this last night. How sometimes as a woman in the industry, if somebody finds you attractive, that's a roadblock for yourself. Because you just want to work with them as individuals, as humans, and just as equals. And that's challenging for them. So my advice would be to just remember to be true to yourself, say what you're feeling as soon as you feel it. Like sometimes I've had to tell people, like, I really like your vibe. your energy, and you're talented, and you're very extra right now, and it's making me feel uncomfortable. Let's get back to that level. And usually that kind of thing will work. And sometimes you just have to know this person is toxic, and they're not going to help me achieve my dreams. So just to the left. Quick.
To the left, to the left.
To the left.
Shanna Shepherd, thank you so much for coming in. Bearaxe, everybody, Oz, John, Matt, you guys are tremendous. You can catch them at the Showbox tomorrow night. You got a show, I know, coming up in February too. Yeah. I'm grabbing that out of my memory. So
we're going to be opening for Temples.
Okay.
Which is if you guys haven't listened to Temples, listen to Temples. They're amazing. I remember listening to them like in college, like weeping my eyes out in my bed after a breakup. They're amazing. Like it's such a huge honor that we're going to be opening with them in February. Like so great. It's just a great 2020 is going to be fire. Like
it's going to be good.
And Thunder Pussies is amazing. It's gonna be an amazing time.
Last Call is the new EP, and we're gonna close it with something from Last Call, Undertow, which is probably the song that I've been spinning the most here on the afternoon airways. Do you guys wanna set it up? You want to say anything about it, or we're gonna roll into it? What do you think?
Yeah. Well, the little riff comes from John Lemon. One of those little times where he's dinking around, making little riffs like, yo, guys, I got this riff. And he calls it his John Mayer riff. But we wrote that song, it's a love song. You know, sometimes it's great to be aggressive, to get mad and make change. But sometimes you have to like look inside to get those tender moments and think about where you've been and where you want to go.
91.3 KBCS, Bearaxe.
I'm begging you to come press my pain.